Hello, class 10 students. Chapter 10, Light, Reflection and Refraction. From this chapter, today I'll teach you refraction through a rectangular glass slab. Let me show you the sketch first. Try to understand this sketch. This is the rectangular glass slab which looks like a cuboidal shape. Whenever the ray of light is entering from the air to the glass slab, as you know that air is optically rarer medium, glass is optically denser medium, because speed of light is more in the vacuum, that is in the air also, whereas speed of light is less through the glass, other medium, that is water. So whenever the ray of light changes the medium, it is to refract. You know also that if the ray of light is going from optically rarer medium to optically denser medium, it is to bend towards the normal. Whereas the ray of light, if it goes from optically denser medium to optically rarer medium, it bends away from the normal. With the help of this phenomena, try to understand this. This is the air, this is the glass slab, that is rectangular glass slab, not thin sheet, that is a cuboidal glass slab you can say. This is your air. This is the incident ray, EO. As soon as it is entering into the glass from the air, it will bend towards the normal. You could see here, this is the normal, perpendicular. Actually, ray of light should go in this way. This dotted line is the actual path, but it is to bend towards the normal. In this case, angle I is greater than angle R. That means angle of incidence is always greater than angle of refraction in this regards, or in this case. Now, when the ray of light, this is your refracted ray, if it goes out, again it is changing the medium, going from the glass to the air again. You can draw one more perpendicular here. This dotted line is the perpendicular. So, ray of light will bend away from the normal because it is going from optically denser medium to optically rarer medium. It is to bend away from the normal. This is the actual path of the incident ray, and this is known as emergent ray. Both are almost from here looks parallel. Between them, if you will find out perpendicular distance, then this perpendicular distance is known as lateral displacement also. The perpendicular distance between the incident ray, the original path of the incident ray, and emergent ray, this line is your emergent ray, is called lateral displacement. Complete explanation is given here, whatever I told, and sometimes this is to come in the exam also. So remember that this is your incident ray, this is your refracted ray, and this is your emergent ray. So original path of the incident ray, and that is your emergent ray. So perpendicular distance between original path of the incident ray and emergent ray is known as lateral displacement. That you are learning from this topic. Remember that lateral displacement depends upon the thickness of the glass slab, how thick it is, because it looks like a cuboidal shape. So thickness of the glass slab, angle of incidence, and refractive index of the glass. So lateral displacement depends upon the thickness of the glass slab, the angle of incidence, and refractive index of the glass. This distance is known as lateral displacement. You need to draw this sketch, you need to understand this in a proper way. Now, Laws of refraction of light. Laws of reflection already you know. These are the laws of refraction of light. First law, same like laws of reflection. The incident ray, the refracted ray and the normal to the interface of two transparent media at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. In shortcut you can say incident ray, refracted ray and normal will lie in the same plane, same flat surface itself. Second law of refraction is most important. This is the most important one. The ratio of sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction is always constant for the light of a given color and for the given pair of media. This law is known as Snell's law of refraction. Angle of incidence we can denote by I, angle of refraction by R. So according to the second law, sin I by sin R is equal to constant, and this constant is known as refractive index of the second medium as compared to the first. I repeat again, laws of refraction of light states that number 1, the incident ray, the refracted ray and the normal to the interface of two transparent media, maybe air, glass, air, water, whatever, at the point of incidence all must lie in the same plane. And second one, the ratio of sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction is a constant for the light of a given color and for the given pair of media. This law is known as, the second law of refraction is known as Snell's law also. Sin I by sin R, I is angle of incidence, R is angle of refraction. So sin I by sin R is equal to constant. This constant value is called refractive index of the second medium with respect to the first. Now, let me tell you about refractive index again. Actually, refractive index, the extent of the bending that takes place in a given pair of media, that is expressed in terms of refractive index. It is convenient to define the refractive index of a medium as the ratio of the speed of light in vacuum to the speed of light in the given medium. Refractive index we should denote by mu, that is Greek alphabet. Refractive index is equal to speed of light in vacuum divided by speed of light in medium. Remember that light travels fastest in vacuum with speed 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter second to the power minus 1. That is speed of light in vacuum divided by speed of light in medium, in a respective medium. If you will consider, if you will divide this, then you can get refractive index. Refractive index you can denote by mu. Refractive index you can denote by this symbol, just like a U. This is your refractive index. But we have different formulas for refractive index. One formula is given here. Refractive index for second medium, this is the symbol in this textbook it is used, but you can use this symbol mu. So refractive index of second medium as compared to the first is equal to speed of light in medium 1 by speed of light in medium 2, which is V1 by V2. Again, we can use this formula also, speed of light in medium 2 divided by speed of light in medium 1, that is refractive index of first medium as compared to the second. But at the same time, we can use, as I told you, this definition, this formula also, refractive index of any medium, which you can mark by, according to your textbook it is written Nm, but it is not N actually. It should be, refractive index will be denoted by just like this symbol, which is known as mu, which is speed of light in vacuum, speed of light in air, both are nearly same, 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter second to the power minus 1 divided by speed of light in medium, which you can take C by V also. The absolute refractive index of medium is simply called its refractive index. In this table, some certain materials name, that is material medium, and its respective refractive index is given. If necessary, you can learn this, you can memorize this, like air, refractive index 1.0003, diamond is maximum 2.42 here, crown glass 1.52, like that up to how much you can study. Again, from this table, you can observe that optically denser medium may not possess greater mass density, like kerosene having higher refractive index. Kerosene having higher refractive index is optically denser than water. Optically denser than water. Water is 1.33. Although its mass density is less than the water. Again, remember that the ability of a medium to refract light is also expressed in terms of its optical density. You should learn this. Optical density has a definite value also, just like refractive index, where you need to understand about optically rarer medium and optically denser medium, etc. And in shortcut, refractive index, by seeing that we can understand how much the ray of light will bend. With this, I'll conclude today. Bye.